Before I even stepped out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I slammed John Davis' medical report onto his face. The infertile one is you. Congrats on your son. Even though you're raising someone else's kid, at least the Davis family finally has an heir. How do you like my remarriage gift? 1. Staring at John's utterly shocked face, I tossed my hair, finally free of this scumbag. Ready to embrace my new life. John and I had been married for 3 years with no children. I endured constant disdain and subtle jabs from his parents. They even called me a barren hen in front of the whole family on New Year's Eve, humiliating me, back then, to protect John's pride. I swallowed the bitter truth and handled the family carefully. Yet he turned around and fathered a child with someone else, right outside my workplace. At the busiest hour, he yelled, "If it weren't for your decent job, I'd have divorced you ages ago." A woman who can't even perform the most basic function of bearing children, how can she even be called a woman? John publicly exposed my private shame without mercy. The crowd grew, buzzing with gossip. People seemed addicted to others' misfortunes, patting themselves on the back for their own better lives. Such is human nature. Under my colleagues' stares, shock, pity, mockery, I slowly lifted my head. You cheated, brought your mistress here to force a divorce, and still want me to leave with nothing. You even covet my dowry money. That's utterly unjust. John was stunned. Meek little Emily confronting him publicly. Unthinkable. But for money, he'd say anything. He shed all shame. The greatest unfilial act is to have no heir. Emily, you wouldn't want the Davis family line to end, would you? Sophia Brown is carrying the Davis family blood. I can't let her stay nameless. For our 3 years of marriage, let's part peacefully. Compensate me for my emotional distress, or I'll sue you for marriage fraud. Marriage fraud. Emotional distress. Remembering his medical report, I burst out laughing. John, who's committing fraud isn't so clear-cut. Don't regret this. My sudden confidence left him speechless. I turned and walked away, leaving the crowd a cool silhouette. Just because I refused to let him split my dowry in the divorce, he chose this public humiliation. He knew government jobs hate open scandals. Sure enough, the next day my boss summoned me. My disgraceful incident ruined the department's Imagine Year-End Excellence Award was revoked. He was trying to destroy me. My repeated concessions only fueled his aggression. If he started this war, I'd finish it. First thing Monday, I took leave and went to the hospital. I pulled John's medical reports from the past 3 years. Same diagnosis every year. Low sperm motility. Extremely low chance of conception. The irony. I'd desperately tried to improve his health for a baby, never imagining the results were this hopeless. Yet that despair now became my key evidence for the divorce lawsuit. So, who's the real fraudster here? Well, if it isn't Emily. Still seeing doctors. Still treating infertility. A shrill screech shattered the hospital's peace. Such a hard disease to cure. 3 years and no progress. Guess you'll never have kids. Talk about bad luck. Ran straight into his mistress here for her prenatal checkup. Seriously, wherever I go, I run into you. Like a filthy fly that just won't buzz off. You, who doesn't know how to talk tough. I casually brushed off the non-existent dust on my clothes, as if I'd touched something dirty, quickly cleaning it off. Clapped my hands. Sophia Brown, you're pregnant. Watch your mouth. Do some good for your unborn child, or you'll give birth to a kid without a butthole. You. Sophia, finally hopping mad from my provocation, instinctively covered her stomach. Who knows if she's faking or acting? If the baby's gone, great. Sophia, I'm curious. Which pregnancy is this for you? Do you come to prenatal checkups all by yourself? You seem quite familiar with the routine, aren't you a regular? What? What do you mean? Exactly what it means. Huh? Why are you blushing? Did I guess right? Sophia glared with wide eyes, no longer caring about her stomach pain. Her face twisted in disbelief and terror as she stared at me intently. It seemed like I'd really uncovered her big secret, the kind that can't be told. I. When I was with John Davis. It was the first time. Of course it's my first pregnancy. How dare you slander me? She couldn't even speak clearly. Looks like the video thing is true. Now there's going to be a good show. Don't get excited. I don't care about any of this. Anyway, John and I are getting divorced. You can keep that scumbag. Mentioning John. My heart didn't stir at all. Probably because I don't love him anymore. That's why I'm so calm. Compared to my calm indifference, Sophia completely broke down. Emily Wilson, you deserve to never have children in this lifetime. You deserve to get divorced. Technology is so advanced now. IVF is available everywhere. But because the Davis family has been guarding against you, lying to you since marriage that they had no money, that's why you've had no children to this day. You deserve not having a kid after 3 years of marriage. A woman living like you, I feel sorry for you. Why did John want to split your dowry? Because he invested poorly and is drowning in debt. Not only does he want you to leave with nothing, but he also wants to squeeze you dry. Sophia's words were like setting off one landmine after another, shattering me to pieces. Everything vanished. As if I'd never been here. Yet as if I'd experienced everything in this world. At that moment, my world fell utterly silent. I never imagined John's family had been scheming against me from the very beginning. My foolishly held marriage was a joke. Love gone. I could toss it aside. Money gone. It's really gone. I kept telling myself in my heart. Money gone. It's really gone. Thank you for telling me this. The suspicions in my heart were suddenly confirmed, especially coming from the troublemaking mistress. It truly left me speechless, angered to the point of trembling hands. I could only stand leaning against the wall. I kept giving myself mental pep talks. Even if I'm utterly devastated. Emily, you can't lose your composure in front of the mistress. Revenge. John's family. And Sophia across from me. I won't let any of them off. I adjusted my breathing. And right under Sophia's smug gaze, I casually turned on my phone. The high-definition video I edited so blatantly exposed Sophia's lies. In the video, Sophia was being held by her ex-boyfriend right after an abortion. She looked so pitiful. Caught in a difficult situation. They had a campus romance. The guy was from a wealthy family, and his family looked down on Sophia from a single-parent family. So she tried to force the marriage by getting pregnant out of wedlock. Unfortunately, she had 2 daughters in a row and had them both aborted. How ruthless. She finally had a son in her 3rd pregnancy. But unexpectedly, the rich guy disappeared. Having neither money nor power, she had to find a scapegoat. First, someone would pay for and take care of the child. And then she'd go looking for the father. But she didn't expect to be filmed. And the video was posted online, though without a clear face. However, I immediately recognized her as John's mistress. After a little editing, it caught Sophia off guard. This isn't me. Before the video was even finished playing, Sophia hysterically shouted and lunged at me to grab my phone. I deftly dodged with a turn. Not you. Then why are you trying to grab my phone? Shall we go to the hospital to check? It's right here anyway. I looked at Sophia, who was frustrated and angry, and gave her a mischievous smile. I leaned close to her ear and whispered, "Playing this cat and mouse game is quite interesting. I'll make sure to get you. You. What on earth do you want to do? I've got it hard too. I have no money or power. And I can't raise the child. Is it because it's a son that you couldn't bear to have another abortion? Besides, you're trying to climb up the social ladder through your son." After I exposed her, Sophia instantly changed from being aggressive to a pitiful damsel in distress. Shedding tears. "Don't cry in front of me. It makes me sick. Who was it that waddled to my house with a big belly, trying to force me to divorce and leave the house penniless? You must have whispered those bad ideas in John's ear. Right. Sorry. Emily, I was wrong. I really am. I have no other way. Please give me a way out." She kept begging me not to send the video to John and said she'd agree to any of my requests. This was exactly what I was waiting for. In fact, even if the Davis family saw the video, they wouldn't think it was Sophia since the person in the video had their back to the camera. But I used AI. Finally, I put forward 2 requests to Sophia. As long as she fulfilled them, I'd promise to keep it a secret for her. First, keep pestering John and make him date you with the intention of marriage. Second, find every way to figure out John's money flow and ask him for more money. John can barely support himself now. How can he support you and the child? I couldn't help but be curious. Something just seemed off. Given John's selfish nature, he'd never suffer for others. He may not have money, but his parents are rich. Emily, his father has been a teacher all his life, and with his mother's shop, they have quite a lot of savings. As far as I know, his parents are extremely stingy. They're tightwads and won't support John. He just needs to support his grandson. Sophia, I'm asking you, when John got in trouble, didn't his father spend money to help him out? Bullshit solution. Everyone knows John Davis owes a mountain of debt, and not a single penny is offered to help him out. Instead, some lousy idea is cooked up to have John Davis split your dowry money during the divorce to plug his holes. Such a cunning old fox. That sure fits John's father's style. I know John's father is pretty old-fashioned, obsessed with wanting a grandson, but I never expected he'd go this far for the grandson, showering generosity beyond belief. He's giving 10,000 yuan a month for prenatal care, hiring a postpartum nanny after the baby boy is born safely, plus a 100,000 yuan bonus. Even the remarriage wedding is to be held in grand style, with a 500,000 yuan dowry. Doesn't care at all how much money is spent, abandoning his own son in need, yet practically paying out of pocket for the grandson. Where there's something strange, there's always trouble. You're still hiding something from me. Don't tell me his old man also likes you. That's why he's so generous about helping raise your son. If you keep hiding it, then get ready for your son to be abandoned and left out in the cold. No, not me. Then who? Under my relentless pressure, Sophia Brown blurted out, "His old man likes my mom." After saying it, she glanced at me sheepishly. After all, the in-laws from both sides hit it off. Does that count as incest? Sophia's words really shocked me. What on earth is going on here? I stared intently at Sophia's face, trying to see if she was bluffing me. Even made-up stories aren't this wild. Sophia, are you kidding me? It'd be more believable if he liked you too. Not lying. If you don't believe me, I'll show you the video. With my stunned and bewildered gaze fixed on her, Sophia effortlessly pulled out the video of her mom and John's father dating. The scene of them embracing so tenderly was way too sweet, and it's still vivid in my mind. What a tragedy for a perfect couple, missing out on all those years. Reality is, the whole family becoming homewreckers. Like mother, like daughter. The family tradition runs deep indeed. Turns out, Sophia and John had already met each other's parents. To find a sucker to raise the son, they acted it out so convincingly. Sometimes I can't help but admire Sophia's way of thinking. At the dinner table, John's father instantly recognized his first love, Olivia Taylor, never expecting it to be his own in-law. They used to be engaged, but after Olivia's father died unexpectedly, John's father was forced by his family to break off the engagement, and they became strangers. Out of guilt, John's father decided to do everything to make it up to Olivia and her daughter. He agreed to almost all of Olivia's demands. Of course, keep the benefits within the family. It all go to his own grandson anyway. John's father probably isn't just feeling guilty towards Olivia. There's more to it. Like lingering feelings. Now, with the video as proof, the affair is confirmed. This shocking scoop was recorded by me in full. Sophia gave me way too many surprises today. I could barely hold back. So I decided to change the subject to avoid bursting out laughing. I kept my cool and continued probing. What's the point of you recording this video? Didn't John's father already give you the money? Actually, I'd already guessed Sophia's reason for recording the video, but I needed her to say it out loud. I never thought I'd ask this. It wasn't to gain your trust that I mentioned the video. How could it be? It was only then that Sophia realized what she had said and what she had let me see. She instinctively covered her own mouth. She was giving me more and more leverage. She must have been regretting it deeply. You don't need to say it. Let me say it for you. It was to get rid of John in the future. And you're even more afraid that one day, when the truth comes out and the Davis family asks you to return the money, you can use the video to threaten them. You can even use your own mother for your own sake. Sophia, you're so cruel. Silence. A deathly silence. A few gusts of cold wind swept through the quiet hospital corridor, making Sophia shiver all over. Her face was as pale as a sheet. She was really scared this time, having the darkest side of her heart exposed in public. It would be abnormal not to be afraid. My goal had been achieved. I smiled and patted Sophia on the shoulder, whispering in her ear, "Remember our agreement. I won't send the video to John. Don't worry. Your baby's milk powder money is still safe. I'll keep both videos a secret for you." Even a fool could hear the strong sense of threat in my words. Sophia really regarded John as a fool. I never thought that John's mistress could be so stupidly muddled at times and so astutely shrewd at other times. When it came to her own interests, she didn't hesitate to push her own mother out. I really wanted to see the big scene of them all in a fight. Sophia was really scared of my video. She coaxed John and didn't dare to come to my home or workplace to make trouble anymore. A month later, Sophia sent me all the transfer records and bank statements proving how John had invested behind my back, embezzled our marital property, and borrowed usurious loans, losing all the money. Looking at these evidences, without time to feel sad, I didn't hesitate at all and directly sued for divorce. On the day they received the court summons, John's family was in full swing discussing the wedding details. Sophia truly deserved to be the strongest mistress in history. She had John's whole family wrapped around her finger, and she had the final say in all the wedding expenses. She had already gotten a huge sum of money. John's father, who valued offspring above all else, was in high spirits. He had both a grandson and an old lover. Little did he know that most of his life savings had been swindled by Sophia. John was sitting on the sofa, looking at his soon-to-be married wife, thinking that his debts were about to be paid off and he could just relax and take good care of Sophia. He still had to rely on her to get the money from his father to pay off the debts. Raising a son didn't cost that much. John's father and Olivia were flirting with each other, and John's mother didn't notice at all. She was still happily sewing new clothes for her grandson. "Oh, everyone's here. I'm not divorced yet. Is John already preparing to remarry?" In the family's surprised looks, I slowly walked into the living room. The familiar environment, the same furniture arrangement, but everything had changed. "John, do you know that this is bigamy?" John immediately stood up from the sofa, acting like a cock that had been injected with stimulants and flapping around and shouting, "Emily, who are you trying to deceive? I haven't had time to deal with you recently, and now you're getting on my nerves. Or have you finally thought it through and are ready to give me the money? Well, hey, race your wedding present." With a slap, I directly threw the court summons in John's face. "Emily, you. How dare you hit my son?" Ill. That old hag was still thinking about slapping me. I directly tore open the Postal Express and shouted, "This is a court summons. I brought it to you myself. I'm suing for divorce. Surprise. Surprise. Court summons. John Davis." "Yes. I filed the lawsuit. Your son is the defendant." John's father looked at me in disbelief. Finally coming to his senses, he hurriedly snatched the summons from my hand and examined it carefully. "Emily Wilson, you bitch. I haven't sued you for marriage fraud yet. And you're suing me for divorce." John was still cursing there. Everyone was dumbfounded. They had always thought the Davis family was the victim, never expecting to become the defendant. Sophia Brown knew I would take action. but didn't expect it to be so fast and direct. Hit where it hurts. She didn't dare make a sound. She pulled her mother's hand and quietly slipped out of the living room. Anyway, I didn't intend to deal with him this time. It's good that she left. Saves affecting my performance. Emily, who gave you these? John didn't borrow any loan shark money. You're openly slandering my son. Dad, look carefully. Every expense on here is stamped with the bank's official seal and John's personal signature. You've been a teacher for so many years. You can't even understand this, can you? John's father was speechless. I caught him off guard. The evidence is ironclad. If we really divorce, not only do I not have to repay the loans, but the marital property has to be split equally. That way, John will only pay more. Only John was stubborn as a mule. Still babbling, it's good that you know, since it's marital property. My debts are also your responsibility. Hurry up and bring out your dowry. You didn't spend a penny, yet you have to pay for me. Emily, you deserve to be deceived. Like pouring out beans non-stop. He was still cursing me there, saying how he schemed against me. He was really addicted to cursing. Enjoying it. Slap. John's father slapped John twice. Shut up, idiot. John was stunned by his father, looking shocked and speechless. John's mother didn't dare utter a word. I was really angered to the point of laughing, still thinking about my money at this point. Emily, look. You married into our family. 3 years and no child. Our family didn't say anything. We've been tolerating it. After all, you and John were husband and wife. Even if you separate, it shouldn't be too ugly, right? How about your son causing a scene at my workplace? Saying in public that I can't have children. Exposing my privacy like that is even more excessive. You tolerate. Old man Davis. You probably forgot so quickly. Who was it that shamelessly brought a mistress to my door, forcing me to divorce, and who threatened me with my job to divorce? Your family forgot, but I haven't. What do you want to do? Shut up. You have no right to speak here. As the saying goes, experience is the best teacher. With just a few words, John's father was trying to make peace. It's very simple. Divide the marital property equally. Transfer my share to me right away. Then I can choose to drop the lawsuit. Look, John is getting married soon. There are costs for the betrothal gifts and the wedding. Plus, after covering John's debts, there's really not much left. Can we pay you in installments? Please drop the lawsuit first. Pay in installments. Do you think this is buying a house? You're dreaming. If I didn't know your family's financial situation in advance, I would have been deceived. Not a single cent less. Or see you in court. Emily. How have you become so sarcastic and unreasonable? Unreasonable. Mr. Davis. Your son had an affair. Do you expect me to be reasonable and happily accept that the mistress is dividing my family property? You're a teacher. Is this how you use the word reasonable after teaching for a lifetime? Mentioning his occupation, John's father completely backed down, his old face turning red. Since you're using my job to threaten me, how can I let you get away unscathed? It's just a tit for tat. Seeing their family in a difficult situation, I finally felt relieved. It swept away the haze of these days. By the way, I also played the video of their whole family coming to my place to force me to divorce. John's father immediately took out his phone and transferred 300,000 yuan to me. I really don't know what other ultimate revelations I have in my hand that could scare them. After getting the money, I called Sophia. I'm dropping the lawsuit. You can marry John now. But I won't marry him. I only want the money. I know. I told you to have a wedding with him, not to get married legally. The ultimate revenge is not only to get the money back but also to ruin the other person's reputation. Right. I'm someone who always gets even. Since John found out that Sophia's child wasn't his, all he's been doing is asking her for money. Of course, the wedding still has to be held. First, make her happy so that he can get the money as he wishes. John really doesn't care at all about the fact that he can't have children. I just wonder if his parents will be as calm as him when they find out. The two of them have their own agendas. They're acting so much that I feel tired for the On the day of John's second marriage, I received a warm invitation from Sophia. I dressed up and attended their wedding with a generous gift. There were red roses everywhere, forming a sea of flowers, romantic and passionate. The big screen was playing a video of their acquaintance, love, and relationship on a loop. It was warm and beautiful. For a moment, I was a little dazed. When I got married to John, the Davis family was never this generous. Comparing it with now, I realized how stupid I was back then. I was the one who wanted to attend John's second marriage ceremony actively. Sophia didn't want me to, but she had no choice. In the dressing room, Sophia, the wedding is about to start. You promised to give me money to pay off my debts after marriage. Give me a part of it now. It's not over yet, honey. I'm pregnant. Don't rush me. Be good. I'll give it to you tonight. I'm just afraid those loan sharks will come and cause trouble. They called me this morning and threatened to cause a ruckus if I don't pay back the money. Besides, getting married is a once-in-a-lifetime event. You don't want anything unexpected to happen, do you? In their intense tug of war, finally, John couldn't hold it in anymore and lost his temper. Come on, you know very well whose child this is. What do you mean? Sophia, I'm just a cuckold. It's me who's infertile. Emily showed me the medical report. I thought the child was mine. I'm infertile. I'll never have my own child in my life. Tell me, whose child is in your belly? I'll transfer the money to you now. You don't want our families to lose face today, do you? To calm John Davis down and escape the marriage, Sophia Brown had no choice but to temporarily pay off the trouble with money. John was really money grubbing. After getting 10,000 yuan, he stopped making a fuss. However, their conversation was overheard by John's mother, Olivia Taylor, who was outside. I anonymously sent the video of John's father and Olivia's date to Olivia. I had staked out for a whole week to capture them. Olivia came here aggressively to catch the adulterous couple. Unexpectedly, she accidentally heard that her son was infertile. She didn't care about catching the adulterers anymore. In a fit of anger, she directly pushed the door open, rushed in, and grabbed Sophia by the neck. You're actually carrying a bastard. And you dared to take so much betrothal money from my family. You dared to cheat money from me. Unexpectedly, Olivia directly exposed Sophia's plot. Let go of me. John, save me. Your mother is trying to strangle me. I can't breathe. Quick, save me. These words woke John up. He finally understood Sophia's purpose. Taking the opportunity, he tried to grab Sophia's phone to transfer the money back. Sophia was so flustered that she accidentally bumped her belly into the table. With a scream, it finally alerted John's father and Olivia, and also attracted relatives and friends outside. Sophia, what's wrong with you? How could this happen? Quick, come and save my daughter. With her belly bumped, Sophia was bleeding profusely and shouting to save the baby. Keep the baby and so on. Even at this moment, she still hoped to rise in status through her child. John's father was so angry that his whole body trembled. All he could think about was that his grandson was about to be lost. And it was Olivia who did it. He didn't care about anything else. With trembling hands, he used all his strength to slap Olivia twice. That's your own grandson. How could you treat him like this? Call an ambulance. John, hurry. Olivia hugged her daughter, crying and wailing. It seemed that all hopes of wealth and glory were completely gone. The child isn't mine. The child she's carrying isn't mine. You bastard. How could you treat my daughter like this? What are you talking nonsense about? Quick, stop making a scene. Saving your son is the most important thing. Hurry. Seeing that John was really useless, John's father picked up Sophia and rushed towards the door, but was grabbed by John. Dad, I'm infertile. It's me who can't have children. So Sophia was trying to deceive me into marriage. She wants me to raise her son and cheated so much betrothal money from our family. I lost money in business. And you were so stingy that you didn't give me a single cent. Sophia promised to use the betrothal money you gave her to pay off my debts after we got married. You'd rather give her 500,000 yuan than care about your own son. In the end, the so-called grandson turned out to be a bastard. Haha. The more John talked, the more excited he became. He went crazy, shouting and hitting his father. I had to marry Sophia. Is she really that good? Worthy of you using all your savings to marry such a daughter-in-law? The child in Sophia's belly isn't your grandson. It's an unknown bastard. I stood in the crowd, smiling as I watched all this. I watched as John's father went from shock to indescribable expressions. And then to the anger of realizing he'd been deceived. He glared angrily at Olivia, unable to confront them on the spot. I could only grit my teeth and swallow the bitterness. It was absolutely thrilling. John's mother finally understood, after 2 slaps, that John's father was planning to divorce her and marry that mistress, using their son's wedding as a cover to openly transfer marital assets. What a clever escape. Son, we've both been deceived by them. Seeing John Davis look utterly bewildered, she laid it all out. If they couldn't live peacefully, everyone might as well split up. That adulterous couple wouldn't get away with it. Your father and Sophia Brown's mother have been carrying on for ages. The same John's mother who had once stormed to my door, cursing and forcing a divorce when her own son cheated, finally felt the pain I endured back then. You're lying. How dare you slander me? Slander. Fine. I'll show you. Sensing trouble, John's father tried to snatch the phone from John's mother's hand. But he was too late. Right before everyone's eyes, footage of John's father and Olivia Taylor embracing passionately and kissing was exposed for all to see. John's father, who had spent his life as a respected teacher with a spotless reputation as a good husband, was utterly ruined. TSK. Cheating at his age-old John is proving that a man must sow his wild oats even in youth. That mother-daughter pair is nothing but trouble. The older one knowingly became the other woman, and the younger one followed suit. The whole family is shameless. He gives money to some bastard child instead of his own son. What do you know? It's love me. Love my doe's fond of the mother. So he supports her daughter too. No. Supporting his daughter-in-law. This is too messed upon minute she's a daughter. The next a daughter-in-law. That's incest. Plain and simple. Who knows? Maybe old John is enjoying both mother and daughter, living the polygamous dream. Finally, under the weight of everyone's whispers, John's father couldn't take the shock any longer. A cerebral hemorrhage struck, and he collapsed to the floor. Paralyzed, John watched his father convulsing on the ground and saw the video in his mother's hand. It dawned on him that his father had planned it all along, abandoning wife and child. All John felt was hatred. His father had money to support that mistress daughter but none for him, leaving him hounded daily by loan sharks, nearly losing his life. John truly didn't want to save him. He made a token call to 911 but didn't even follow to the hospital, heartbroken and cementing his reputation as unfilial. What was meant to be a perfect wedding never even reached the altar, ending in chaos. Only piles of roses lay lonely in the corner, as if mocking everything. Though John's father was saved in time, he ended up with a twisted mouth, crooked nose, and slurred speech. That day, while everyone got a free show of family drama, they couldn't just stand by and watch someone die. Sophia, delayed in getting medical help, lost the baby. Worse still, her uterus was removed. Her dream of marrying into wealth shattered completely. After that, she went mad and was eventually committed to a mental hospital by her mother. The money swindled from John's father all ended up in Olivia's hands. John sold his parents' house just to barely pay off the loan sharks, hiring only the cheapest caregiver for his father with minimal care, and never once showed up himself. That day, while visiting a colleague at the hospital, I accidentally spotted John, lying in bed, motionless as a corpse. You old bastard. You soiled the bed again. How many times have I told you? Speak up when you need to go. Such a hassle. The caregiver grumbled, occasionally hitting him with no respect at all. Who would have thought? To make ends meet, John took on a part-time gig delivering food, got hit by a car, and had both legs amputated. Karma sure is a bitch. Why are you here? To laugh at me? Not just that. Do you know how I got those bank statements back then? I'll tell you, Sophia gave them to me. She's been my spy planted right beside you all along. You. Don't move. You'd better just stay put. I used the truth about her pregnancy to threaten her into doing things for me. And she was only trying to scam money to support her son. If it weren't for your whole family scheming against me and forcing me, I wouldn't have ended up like this. We never schemed against you. John Davis. Stop being stubborn now. Why didn't your family let me do IVF since I'm infertile? From the very beginning, you lied to me about not having money. Oh, right. All of this was confirmed by Sophia Brown. Now she's gone mad. How about that? Thanks to your whole family for putting on such a spectacular dog show for me. You. I told you. If you do something first, don't blame me for doing it back. From the moment we got married, your whole family started scheming against me. How does it feel to taste the bitterness of being schemed against by Sophia Brown and her mother from the start? But you're unluckier than me, ending up with your family torn apart. Those who do evil will reap what they sow. When the truth was gradually revealed before him, John, he lost all his former arrogance, staring at me blankly like he'd seen a ghost. Everyone is growing, but some people just get dumber. While I've grown from gentle and timid to strong step by step, Mr. Davis here was still hoping that Olivia Taylor would come to the hospital to take care of him, out of past affection. Too bad. The old man had already taken his life savings and found a young lover. And now they're all lovey-dovey. When I told Mr. Davis this news, he couldn't catch his breath and passed out directly. Olivia had always held a grudge about who filmed the video at the wedding. She actually found the video on Sophia's phone, to be betrayed by her own daughter in her old age. So after Sophia went mad, Olivia never thought of curing her, but instead sent her straight to a mental hospital. Truly a chip off the old block. Both are ruthless and vicious. When I walked out of the hospital, the grass under the warm sun by the roadside was already lush green, so spring had arrived unnoticed. I casually took a photo and posted it along with my medical checkup report on social media. Colleagues, friends, everyone congratulated me on getting rid of that jerk. Especially that infertile man.